I want to talk about willpower versus having a good flow and how both are important, and then also how sobriety can help you achieve good habits, and how sometimes even doing the right things can actually be a distraction. Personally, I am a big believer in like conscious entrepreneurship, or just like making achievements but doing them from a place of like wanting to get somewhere rather than proving yourself that you need this or otherwise that you wouldn't be enough. Because I think that's the way a lot of entrepreneurs go about it. I feel often it's coming from a lack for a lot of people, and then they can like have like a big brand or they can have like a big following, but then like it's actually shallow, and then like it doesn't really have like a cool purpose behind it. And also the people themselves that do that, they might actually not feel so satisfied within their soul. So I think that's why conscious entrepreneurship is important. And that's also why I think sobriety is important. And hear me out here. I don't mean feeling like shit. I don't mean starving yourself. I don't mean that you can't have any pleasure in life. I actually mean the opposite. But you have to do it in a good way, right? You want to, if you're sober, that's what I'm trying with my life right now. I'm trying to eat less, still eat enough, but eat less so that I don't feel bloated and that I don't grab for food every time something is going on, but that I actually grab for food when my body needs it and that I don't overeat. And so that's what sobriety is about for me. It's not about starving myself. It's just about really health, but in a really, really optimal way. So I think what I just thought about today is this food helps me feel good, right? And then if I had to sacrifice that, if I couldn't have these snacks and if I couldn't have all the meals in the world and I had to sacrifice things with sugar, then I feel like life would be not necessarily shit, but it wouldn't be exciting. Like that's sometimes what I feel like. But then I realized when I actually become sober and when you can do that consciously and you can guide or control your mindset in a good way, then you can actually, you feel like you don't need those things to feel good. And you can be sober and it can actually have a much better feeling than being like hyped up by sugar and things like that all the time. And not just that, but it will also cause you to be a lot more productive. And I actually think it's much better for your performance. But if it would just give me performance, and that's the thing, like that, I wouldn't do it for that. Because I don't want to perform if it doesn't truly give me meaning, and if it doesn't really give me purpose, and if it doesn't truly make me enjoy or be satisfied with my life, then I wouldn't do that. So I'm truly doing that because not only does it give me performance, but it also helps me like be conscious and feel good without grabbing for like, jogs or jacking up myself on like shit that isn't healthy, right? And this, in a way, I think it also relates to like willpower and like having like, because willpower is necessary if you want to have like the discipline to change some habits in your life, then you need to do that. But recently I had a situation where I was like, I need to do these cold calls every day in my business. And sort of, yes, that's true. But it started feeling like a distraction. And uh, so it started feeling like a distraction. And then I was like, well, I can't. Keeping on doing this would feel like the right thing for me, but it wasn't, because there was something inside of me that like I need to address, right? And this is like a nuanced thing, because at the end of the day, yes, if you want to grow your business, you probably need to do cold calls. But sometimes, especially when you feel like, if you genuinely feel like it's becoming a distraction, then maybe sometimes you need to take a step back and listen to your body, because it might be trying to tell you something. Or like, we could even call it like the soul, you know, if you really wanted to get to that. And that's also something that years ago, when I first got into spirituality, I was reading a lot of books about like willpower, and I went to this event called like Rainbow Gathering. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically an event for hippies a little bit, but it is like a little bit of like a more spiritual event as well. And so there I met some guys, and I met someone who was into like Kundalini practice. It's like a Hindu thing. But the thing with like Kundalini and most practices like that is that they're more about like surrender, and more about like flow rather than pushing, rather than willpower, right? So willpower might be how you achieve some things, and you really require focus and structured effort to take something, to conquer something, or to get somewhere. Kundalini is the opposite, but also in an intense way, right? So you're not, you're not just sitting back and like enjoying life and things like that. That's not what it really looks like if you do it seriously. It is actually quite an intense practice, but it's not a focus. It's not effortful. It's intense, but it's not effortful, because it's about surrender. And that's what you want to do when you have. That's exactly why what I was talking about earlier, when I was doing all these cold calls, it didn't feel aligned for me anymore. And that's when I tap into more of like, surrender in a way, because it's like letting go and like listening to your deeper self and finding alignment, right? And it's not necessarily about surrender in the way that you like give up on the good things, or you give up on your purpose, or nothing like that. It's just really going deeper and figuring out if what you said is your purpose, what you said is your meaning, whether that's something that you really want in the first place, right? And you do it genuinely, right? You don't do it from a place of making excuses. You do it genuinely. But if you genuinely feel that maybe it's time for a new phase in your life, then you have to be able to accept that if you want to be conscious, if you want to be aligned with a purpose that you truly feel is where you want to go. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Yeah, see you next time.